Howdy do! So, in today's champion roadmap of April 2018, they did mention, like we called last week, the Aatrox Rework, as well as some other VGUs and a teaser for a new champion. So that's going to be today's video, because as a small YouTuber, I need to kind of cash in on those views as well, if I'm just being honest with you guys. So with that said, when it comes to the champion teaser, never turn your back on the sea. Let's reset a bit and wade right into the next champion we're adding to the list. We felt it was time to execute on a new support with a darker, deeper thematic than most of our support cast. We also want to create an aggressive playmaker, someone who doesn't just save a drowning ally, but also forces their enemies to drown themselves, by their own hands. Keep your health high, your eyes to the sea, and pray you aren't on that list. Now, first and foremost, August on Twitter leaked that he just learned today the new champion is an underwater door. So when I hear that and I think about the deep sea, I think of Davy Jones. So obviously, Davy Jones is the next new champion. They're pretty much like Alawi, but also fused with Rakan, the playmaker, and that's the new support champion. Why I bring up Alawi also, though, is she's a juggernaut, and a bit more of a serious note, I think the new support champion might be similar to a juggernaut kind of champion. If you want to talk about them always trying to bring something new when they add new champions to this game, that's one thing in the support class doesn't quite have, right? Urgot was an AD carry, and he became the first ranged juggernaut. We already had juggernauts like Alawi or Darius and stuff like that. On top of that, when I see the whole thing about drowning by your own hands, I'm thinking maybe if you get close to this champion, there's some sort of aurora around them. Think like Nasus or Renekton, who are also juggernauts, that maybe take away stats from you, or make it easier for you to, get destroyed. They drain you of armor, or drain you of magic resist, something like that, some sort of debuff when you're near them, that then allows that support's allies to easily destroy you, or them themselves maybe, because Red Mercy mentioned that he also has played this champion when he visited Riot, and that this champion might be able to be played in other roles. Think like Tom Kench. He was a top laner that became a support, but can also be played top lane. Vi was actually really supposed to be a top laner, ended up in the jungle. So we're gonna have to see when it comes to that champion when they come out. Next we have Death is Only the Beginning. Last time they talked about Aatrox, they said he was going to only get a gameplay update, but as they dove deeper and further into his kit's new direction of a great swords duelist that relentlessly pursues his foes, we realized that the feeling of playing the new Aatrox wasn't exactly matching his current visuals. Aatrox's new design felt more powerful, more weighted, and overall just more imposing to play against. We felt this called for some more models and updates to match his gameplay feeling and to make him look more the part. That being said, it won't be a full VGU, as we aren't giving him a full 100% in new animations or making all of his skins, though there will be some small tweaks to his skins that match his base model update. They will, however, be giving Aatrox a new brutal VO to bring him in line with our other new champions, because who doesn't want to hear Aatrox physically and verbally destroy his enemies? AKA, it's not 100% a new VGU, it's 99% a new VGU. Check your math. But pretty much they have also an image here of what his sword looks like, and that is definitely Soul Edge from Soul Calibur. So what this means is the new Aatrox is literally going to be Nightmare from Soul Calibur. Or in the new Soul Calibur 6, he's getting a Aatrox skin. Or maybe even both. They're both, like, he's gonna get a Nightmare skin, they're gonna get Aatrox skin. Maybe it's both, whatever the case is, that sword is literally out of Soul Calibur. And, some people have had different opinions about Aatrox, what they hope for him. Some think he's fine, some think he needs to rework, but they hope they keep certain things. We're just gonna have to wait and see at this point. And maybe he'll appeal to more people, but hopefully he still remains something that the mains that people already that play that champion want to still continue to play. That's my hope for you guys anyway. Next we have Tools of the Trade. So let's go rogue and talk some more about the upcoming Akali VGU. In the last roadmap, we mentioned that we wanted to preserve her shroud as the ability that makes her unique and helps her stand out in the assassin class. Though the baseline functionality is the same, we've made some pretty dramatic changes to Akali's shroud so that our play pattern of hitting hard, repositioning, and then striking again is more engaging for Akali players. Outside of her shroud, we felt it was more important to maintain her high mobility, especially since it really fits well with her ninja theme, so don't expect that to vanish. Another thing we wanted to maintain about her kit was her dual scaling, as it gives Akali flexibility that really makes her feel like a champion who has mastered a wide range of weapons, both magical and physical. And speaking of her thematic, we'll be extending her current lore and looking at what life looks like a couple years down the road when she strikes out on her own, ready to show the world her skills as a ninja. Akali, also the person that shares the same voice with people like Maka Alburn from Soul Eater, Kushina aka Naruto's mother, Crunchyroll, the protag female from Saints Row III, as well as Omochao from the Sonic series. And that's all pretty fitting when you think about the fact that A, expecting new Akali to probably be as crazy as a Saints Row game, League of Legends already, you sold your soul to it, so expect Akali to reap it now, just like a soul eater. Omochao is supposed to be a helper robot that's also immortal, and as such, when a new champion or a new VGO comes out, Akali is probably going to seem overpowered or broken or unkillable and make you angry, but on top of that, also solidify your decision to uninstall League of Legends, if you will. And last but not least, like Kushina, be a ninja that also makes you fear God if they're ever angry, or also you're against them. So, with that said, who knows exactly what the Akali VGU will be fully like? That's just going to be my preference and my opinion on that. But finally, we have the true power of friendship, which I couldn't even really get through that title without thinking about the fist bump song from Sonic Forces.
Together we can show the world what we can do. You are next to me and I'm next to you. Push me on through until the battle's won.
Which is funny, because the picture they have is literally Nunu and Willop giving each other a fist bump. But anyways, it's finally time to let the Yeti out of the bag and start talking about the next big VGU we have planned. Nunu and Willop have aged very poorly over time, and as such we'll be rebuilding them from the ground up. We won't be throwing everything away, as the dynamic duo absolutely have a few iconic abilities worth keeping, but thematically, we feel Nunu and Willop belong in a more whimsical, lighthearted space. We want to thaw out these two's relationship and boil down what their friendship really means to each other. Nunu and Willop should capture the childlike feeling of having your first snowball fight, or warming up next to a close friend on a cold winter night. It's not all snowballs and hot chocolate though, as when our heroes' backs are against the wall, Willop will make sure his enemies learn the true power of a Fjordian behemoth. And as I said, there's a fist bump. I literally just hear the lyrics from the song in my head as this goes on. But on top of that, it's one of those things where it's like, when a champion's supposed to get a VGU and you can tell they've aged poorly, sometimes the VGU is delayed for a bit longer of a time, like Red Mercy, because he mentioned in his video, that he played the Aatrox and a couple other things, and also this champion, it feels like the VGU is overdue. I'm not saying I'm making a counter argument, but sometimes champions like say Urgot, they take a little bit longer, because right when the team gets ready to maybe start working on a VGU, that champion becomes meta, and then the team has to go, okay wait, they're meta, why are they meta? Is it because they actually do something that's worth keeping and preserving when we do a VGU, or something just overpowered on them right now? With Urgot, it was a little bit more of the later. With Nunu, it sometimes is the former, right? Sometimes he's just meta at random. He was meta when the Juggermaw was a thing, and the ggGetJinxed was a thing back in Season 5. Even at the beginning of this season, Nunu was meta for a little bit, right? So sometimes I have to take a step back, look at, okay, this champion actually is, or there's some things about him worth preserving. So that's why VGUs in general might sometimes take a bit longer, and sometimes we're sitting here like, this is overdue, why hasn't Riot done this yet? And Riot is kind of like, well, this is why. We have to actually figure out what players and people like about this champion, that they sometimes keep coming back, and also what can we get rid of. So with that said, that's all for this video, the champion roadmap of April 2018. In the comment section down below, let's have a discussion about these champions. What do you expect for them? We kind of already went over Aatrox a little bit, so let's talk about, Akali, Nunu, your expectations for the new support champion, especially if you're a support player. If there's going to be like an aggressive playmaker that's pretty fun, maybe we'll get more people to play the role, and they can finally eliminate autofill once and for all. But that's all for this video. I don't know which video will be next, because I could have a lot of kinks. So until next time, take care. GG, get jinxed. Thank you for watching.